Hello. This is a video that has been in the making for a little while now, and it is of a format that I really want to start implementing a lot of on my channel, and that is brackets. I want to take a bunch of different artists' discographies. It doesn't have to just be rap, even though that is what a lot of the videos on this channel have been about music-wise. It could be rock, jazz, I don't know, disco, but just a different artist discography and go through a bunch of their albums and pick out some songs that are fun to talk about, highlights, and just put them all into a 32 song bracket and see what comes out on top. And I think what a very interesting starting point here would be is JPEGMAFIA. Specifically, JPEGMAFIA and his proto name before he became JPEGMAFIA, Devon Hendrix. Those two eras alone have so many different songs of different genres, and I think JPEGMAFIA is a fantastic place to start in this maybe future series because he has so many different songs that you could point to that could be interesting to talk about. And we're going to talk about 32 of them and see what the best JPEGMAFIA song and Devon Hendrix song is. So again, we have 32 songs. I'm going to talk about each one, and then we're going to pick which one I'm going to go for. Well, before I begin, I want to say, first and foremost, there are some songs, obviously, that did make the cut. I think probably the biggest song here that I wanted to include but didn't make it was What Kind of Rappin' Is This off of Offline. That is a very, very beloved JPEG song that I just I just couldn't fit here because I wanted each album to have at least one song. Some have 3, some have 4, and Offline was one of them that had 4 songs already included. I just didn't want to put 5 songs from the album there in lieu of, another album which may already have like 3, and I just don't like that imbalance. So, I'm sorry if your favorite JPEG song is What Kind of Rappin' Is This. There are a couple others that are very beloved that I couldn't quite include here, but let's begin. Round 1, we have Neon Kitchen off of Joe Chill World versus Call Me Maybe off of the Ghost Pop tape. Now, this is a very interesting one because these are both from Devon Hendrix, not JPEGMAFIA. They're the same person, but just different eras, right? And I think Call Me Maybe is a very weird one, so I'm going to talk about that one second. Neon Kitchen is a good example of a lot of what Devon Hendrix was about at that time in that era. That was cloud rap. Believe it or not, before JPEGMAFIA turned into whatever kind of production beast you want to call him now, he was a cloud rapper. He made cloud rap songs, and Neon Kitchen has one of the craziest beats of all time. If this song was entirely instrumental, I could see it making a crazy big push because this song is produced beautifully. I think this is a great catalyst for the kind of songs that he would make at the time, just the quintessential cloud rap song from JPEGMAFIA. The only reason why I don't quite want to listen to it that much is because the lyricism, damn. They could say that a lot about even new JPEGMAFIA. Hell, he was in hot water because of his new album of songs like The First Amendment. So, JPEGMAFIA has always been the kind to push the buttons when it comes to what you really should and shouldn't say in an album, in a song. But back then, damn, he did not care. He did not care. And it definitely hasn't aged the best lyrically, but production-wise, it still feels super fresh till this day. I really love it. Versus Call Me Maybe. This is off of the Ghost Pop tape. Spoiler alert, my personal favorite Devon Hendrix and JPEGMAFIA album combined. Which is a weird take because it is nothing like any album he's made, even during the Devon Hendrix era. It is like a weird electronic R&B atmospheric album with some rap bits included in it. It's so weird to describe because there is quite nothing that sounds like the Ghost Pop tape. I have never ever heard an album that sounds quite like it. I saw someone one time in like a Reddit comment section that described it pretty well, and it was This album sounds like Blonde by Frank Ocean, but for Gooners. And I think that's a pretty apt description. It's such a romantic album in a way. A lot of songs talk about love and lust and heartbreak and emotional regret with a relationship. But it's all done in such like a lonely and like incel based way, which is the point. But it just comes off as so like creepy and off-putting, again, in a good way. And this song is such a great example of it. It is a cover of Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe, which is such an iconic pop song. And even though it uses the exact same lyrics, he transforms it into a completely different song structurally and sonically. It sounds so much more depressing, and with the new lyricism, with the new like palette change, the lyrics take like a whole new different meaning almost. And I love that he's able to do that, and I love like that creativity that you can just take someone else's song and put it here and still make it fit beautifully within like the main themes of the album. I'm going with Call Me Maybe. I do. And hot take, I think it's better than the original. I do. The original is a fun 2010 pop song, is iconic, but Devon Hendricks' version is just so much more atmospheric and so much more emotional that I think it's better, in my opinion. Second, we have Kingdom Hearts Key off of Scarin' the Hose versus 1539 and Calvert off of Veteran. Kingdom Hearts Key is such a amazingly produced song, which I think is why a lot of people call it the best song off of Scarin' the Hose, which is his collab album with Danny Brown. I don't know why I forgot that. I don't know, I was blanking on that. And yeah, I think it definitely deserved it because it is such a singular song on the album. A lot of the other songs on the album are very fast-paced, very aggressive, and then we have this like very like atmosphere. You're going to see me say the word atmospheric a lot because you could describe a lot of JPEGMAFIA songs as being atmospheric, but very like floaty, very airy type beat structure and atmosphere. And Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA both provide very laid-back performances, which is weird, especially for both of them, because they both are very known to have very frantic vocal performances. And so a song like this, again, just feels so unique and singular, and I think it's done really well. 1539 and Calvert is seen as one of JPEGMAFIA's best songs, and that's why I included it here, but hot take, I don't see it. I think it's a great song. I think he has great flow on it, but I don't really get the people who say it's one of his best ever songs, to me at least. I think the production is good, the flow is good, the lyrics are fine, but it doesn't strike me in any way, not even on Veteran. I think Veteran has way more flashy and fun production and flow, and this song just seems more like by the books, which I guess is why people like it so much, because it feels the most like a standard rap song. But when I listen to JPEGMAFIA, I don't want to hear standard rap. I want to, feel like I'm injecting heroin in my veins and going fucking crazy. And so I don't really get that vibe off of 1539 and Calvert. I mean, granted, he is angry on this song. JPEGMAFIA is almost always angry on any song he's ever made, ever. But I get more out of Kingdom Hearts Key. It's a more unique song. I love Danny Brown's performance here, but I think they both balance off each other really well too. So I'm going to go with Kingdom Hearts Key, which might offend some people. The fact that 1539 and Calvert is going out first round, that's probably going to be a hot take, but sorry. Next we have God Don't Like Ugly off of Offline versus Keaton versus Kel off of All My Heroes Are Corn Balls. God Don't Like Ugly is probably the most out there pick on this whole bracket, but it's always been a personal favorite for me in JPEGMAFIA's discography, just because, I mean, it is very short, like a minute and a half long, which is probably why no one really talks about it, but the reason why I love it so much is because it feels like the quintessential JPEGMAFIA song. He's basically talking about how everyone is like mad at JPEG Mafia, and everyone scoffs at him because he is just so different, and because the music he makes is so off kilter, and so like crazily different than anything else that is made at the time and since, that people just rate him off, and people, have distaste for him. But he's talking back at that. He's saying, "Go, man, go fuck you. I know what I'm at. He says in the song, I'm the next Frank Zappa. Y'all are Sarah Palin. You're simple. You're basic. I'm stylistic. I'm a genius. I'm all of this. I'm all of that. You're nothing. You're plain. And I think it really works really well because it perfectly describes JPEG Mafia's entire brand, almost. So I really love it. And the production, too, just plays into that so well because it's like this soul sample, which is a common thing in rap, is to have soul samples. But it's like breaking out of time, and it's like warping, and it's so hard to describe. It glitches out, and at times it feels like maybe your headphones or like your phone is broken and you're not really getting the audio correctly. But no, it's supposed to sound super weird and dysfunctional. If you have never heard a JPEG Mafia song before, I genuinely think you should start with God Don't Like Ugly before you listen to anything else, because it is, again, I think the quintessential JPEG Mafia song in every way. It describes perfectly what he's going for, and I love it. Keaton versus Kel, I think, is funny that's the matchup, because they kind of deal with opposite messages. Keaton versus Kel is more about JPEG Mafia's self-doubt and his anxiety when it comes to wanting to please others, but knowing that his style is so out there, and it turns a lot of people off, that it's hard for him to he wants to please a lot of people, but it's hard for him to please anyone with his unique structural sound. So it's funny that those are compared to each other, because one is like, I'm gonna do what I want, I don't give a fuck what you think, and the other is, well, I want to please a lot of people, and I have anxiety because a lot of people don't like what I do, and can't even write a good song. And I like that dichotomy that he faces in both of these songs. I personally am going to go with God Don't Like Ugly, and this is another reason why I wanted to go with this bracket, because I feel like in a bunch of different people's, if they were to make a JPEG Mafia bracket, this song would not even be here. There would definitely be What Kind of Rappin' Is This over God Don't Like Ugly, and probably a million different offline. So I'm saying a million. There's 30 songs on the album, but there's this song not even being included. And it's gonna make a pretty big push in my bracket. Newsflash, but that's my pick. Next we have the 27 Club original off of the Rockwood Escape Plan versus the 27 Club remaster off of Black Ben Carson. The original is from is a Devon Hendrix song, and the remaster is a JPEG Mafia song off his first studio album. I did this matchup for an obvious reason, because they're both the same song, but just one is the only song from the Devon Hendrix era to ever make it onto a JPEG Mafia album and to ever be brought back onto a mainstream JPEG Mafia album. And I think it's really, really cool to see that this is a song that survived it, especially because the Rockwood Escape Plan is such a whatever Devon Hendrix album to me. I think it's good. It has some bangers on it, the 27 Club being one of them. But as a whole, I don't really get a lot out of it. It's definitely an album from JPEG Mafia that kind of just goes under the rug for me. And so for him to take this song out and put it on this album is on Black Ben Carson is really cool to see. The song, and I think also the 27 Club is one of his best ever written songs. It's structured. He goes into 3 different verses about a different artist who died at 27, the 27 Club, and he kind of starts the verse off about how they died and how their headspace was before they died, the lead up to it, and he slowly translates it into his own personal life and his own personal struggles and how they relate to it. And in the chorus he says, "If I ain't rich before 26, well fuck, I hope they let me in the 27 Club." And that is such a great lyricism, such a great bar. I do think there is one big difference in the original versus the remaster that I have yet to bring up, and that is that they are written differently, just straight up written differently. The original has a verse about I think some like I don't even know. I can't even know off rip. I can't think of his name, but some country singer or whatever who wasn't even dead at the time. He was like in his 70s, so it doesn't really fit the theme. But in the remaster, he gets rid of that verse and replaces it with a new one. A verse about Jimi Hendrix, a verse about Janis Joplin, and a verse about Kurt Cobain. All three of which were members of the 27 Club. And he takes all of that, and they all flow very nicely. And I think that's what makes the remaster so much better than the original. Not just because it's produced better, not just because it's mixed better, not just because it's remastered, but because it is written more into the theme, which makes it better written. So I'm definitely going with the JPEGMAFIA, the Black Ben Carson version of the 27 Club. Next, we have Montebello High School Prom. Off of Joe Chill World versus I Cannot Fucking Wait Till Morrissey Dies off of Veteran. I know how I said if you want to get into JPEGMAFIA, listen to God Don't Like Ugly. If you want to get into Devon Hendrix, listen to Montebello High School Prom. I think that song, I said Neon Kitchen was the quintessential cloud rap song from him, and production-wise, that's true. But I think this song, it's like a 5-minute, it's like the calling card, the centerpiece of Joe Chill World, and I think it's really well done. Production-wise, it's very good cloud rap, but it's also like performed really well. It has like great bars. It's very witty. It has like different structural moments. It really feels like you're following this main character through like the different parts of the song. I really love structurally how the song is arranged. The Morrissey song, I just kind of included here because the song title is so iconic. As a song, it doesn't really do much. It's basically about, racism and, how old head musicians from, like, the 80s and 90s get brought up to superstardom, and people just kind of forget about all the fucked up shit that they have done, or have done, whether it be in their prime or nowadays. I think Morrissey is a great example of that. Morrissey being the lead singer of the Smiths. I love the Smiths. The Queen is Dead is one of my favorite albums of all time, but I can't, in good faith, just praise Morrissey when, if you look at his latest output, some shit that he's been saying in, like, news publications and in interviews, and his latest, music not being great at all. And I think it's also just age-wise really interesting song in JPEGMAFIA's discography, since he's always looked up to Kanye West as being one of his heroes, one of his mentors, one of his role models. And seeing Kanye West's mental decline and kind of going through a similar fate in a modern era that Morrissey did, it's really weird to then go back to this song and see, JPEGMAFIA shit talk Morrissey, and then see how that relates nowadays when he has to live with the fact that his role model is not a good person. It really puts this song in a different light to me. But still, as a song, it definitely does not provide as much as Montebello High School Prom, so I'm going with that. Brief break. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom, but I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we have Power Stone off of Dreamcast Summer Songs versus Jesus Forgive Me, I Have a Thought, off of All My Heroes Are Cornballs. Power Stone, and really all of Dreamcast Summer Songs, is another really weird off-ball album from JPEGMAFIA and Devon Hendrix. It is his first ever album, I'm pretty sure, and it is entirely instrumental. It's just like 6 different beats that he cooked up at the time. Very long, too, like 7 minutes, 8 minutes. The one is like 12 minutes long. And it's very smooth, very well done. But a lot of it is, just very weird to listen to, because it's like knowing what he would become in even 10 years, seeing just like a very I don't say simple, because a lot of it is pretty nice and pretty high effort, but just listening to like a beat tape when he just wanted to be a producer is very funny. Versus Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, I think is one of his best concepts for a song. It's also a very funny song title, yes, I know. But I think as a song, it's a great concept. It is, I mean, as the title suggests, it's about being a whore. Um, and, being unholy in the eyes of God and trying to better yourself and trying to put yourself higher in that position. And I feel like, maybe this is just my personal theory, but I feel like in the song, JPEGMAFIA kind of relates that into his own life and his own career, kind of relating being like a stripper or a porn star or a thought to being a rapper. Being someone who's like a big entertainer and taking like the bad influences that brings and that has, and trying to use that to better yourself and to bring yourself into a higher place in the eyes of God. I think that's a really fantastic concept for a song, and I think it's done really well production wise. Oh my god, this song is phenomenal. I love the production. It even has some of that cloud rap based stuff that Devon had, but it's like a different evolution of that. You can tell that he's definitely grown since that era, and he's able to use those sounds, that sound palette, to make something that is definitely not cloud rap, but it's very hard to put into a box, which a lot of JPEGMAFIA's music is hard to put into a box. I think just labeling all of JPEGMAFIA's music as rap is, well, first off, just straight up wrong, because he has albums like the Ghost Pop Tape and Dreamcast Summer Songs, which are just straight up not rap albums, or at least not fully rap albums. But I feel like just labeling him as a rapper just is setting him out to be way more than he really is. And I think both these songs are a great example of that for different reasons. I'm going to go with Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, definitely. But Power Stone is such a vibe. You should definitely listen to it. It's great. Next, we have Either On or Off the Drugs off of I Laid Down My Life For You versus Rebound off of Offline. Either On or Off the Drugs is definitely JPEGMAFIA's most accessible song. A lot of his music is very loud, very abrasive, very aggressive, and if you're like a casual rap fan, or if you're just not a rap fan at all, it's going to sound like poop from a butt, basically. It's going to sound like a whole bunch of turds in your eardrums. But this song, even non-Peggy fans, even Peggy haters, admit that this is a good song because it is, again, very accessible, very easy to get into. It's soft, it's smooth, it's mellow. The production is I don't want to say basic, but it's definitely easier to groove to compared to some other stuff, even on this album. Lyrically, this song is about, how drug addiction or alcoholism can affect a relationship, and about fake relationships in general. And I think that calmness of it and JPEGMAFIA's tone and delivery helps very much set that tone and deliver that concept in a very well-mannered way. Versus Rebound, this is seen as one of JPEGMAFIA's best songs, and it's definitely not hard to see why. That horn section, when that horn section comes in, oh my god, you can't help but just dance and start throwing shit, honestly. Like, I like to think JPEGMAFIA is the black metal of the rap genre. It's not black metal, and there is such thing as rap metal, but I like to see it as like metal in a sense that metal is a very abrasive and aggressive genre and kind of evolution of rock, and JPEGMAFIA's discography and songs like Rebound are such an aggressive and abrasive variation and evolution of rap. And you get great flow, great very angry delivery from JPEGMAFIA. I'm gonna go with Either On or Off the Drugs. I'm sorry, that might be a hot take again. I know a lot of people love Rebound. I love Rebound. It's definitely a song that I see myself listening to a lot, maybe even more than Either On or Off the Drugs. But I just can't get over that smoothness and that great delivery from JPEG. So next we have Choo Choo Rocket off of Dreamcast Summer Songs versus Sakura off of the Ghost Pop Tape. Choo Choo Rocket is another instrumental song off of that instrumental tape I was talking about. I think it's definitely the centerpiece of that album. It is definitely the best beat on the album. It's also the longest song on the album, being like 12 minutes long, which also makes it far and away JPEGMAFIA's longest song ever. It's just, there's not really much to talk about because lyrically there's nothing to it. It's instrumental, but it is just such a fantastically produced song. It's so smooth, and it sucks that it's instrumental. I mean, I doubt he would actually be able to rap over this for 12 minutes long. It would definitely be trimmed down if it was turned into an actual song, but I wish it was turned into an actual song, because I really would love to see what he would do with a beat like this. But as it stands, I think it definitely works on its own, because the way it evolves throughout the 12 minutes is very nice. It's not just like a 10-second loop that loops over and over for 12 minutes. It has a bunch of evolutions and different structural formats that changes throughout the songs that I can really appreciate and love. And yeah, it's definitely the centerpiece of Dreamcast Summer Songs. Versus Sakura off of the Ghost Pop tape. God, this song is just such a fucking vibe, man. It is pretty short, only 2 minutes long, but it's just such a peaceful, beautiful, angelic song. And if you know anything about JPEGMAFIA, using words like beautiful or angelic seems very weird and very unlike what a lot of JPEGMAFIA's music sounds like, but it is. A lot of it is just straight up genuinely beautiful to listen to. It's very calming, it's very peaceful. It's like you're just in a calm, peaceful, euphoric headspace. Yeah, especially on an album like a Ghost Pop tape, which is a very sad album. Just all things considered, a song like Sakura is very much appreciated. This is very tough. I could go both ways here. I'm going to go with Choo Choo Rocket. I think I could maybe see myself going with Sakura, but I'm going to go with Choo Choo Rocket simply because I think there's going to be other Ghost Pop tape songs that are going to be definitely making it past round one, because again, it's my favorite JPEG album. Meanwhile, I think Choo Choo Rocket is probably going to be the only representation off of Dreamcast Summer Songs that will have the opportunity to make it past the first round, so I just want there to be more variety, because this is a very close matchup for me, but I'm going to go with Choo Choo Rocket. Next we have Perfect off of Scaring the Hose versus Liara, also off the Ghost Pop tape. Perfect is just a great song all in general. I said the horns on Rebound were great. The horns on this song are phenomenal. Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA are both going in the entire time. It's hype. It's fantastic. It's another song you just want to throw shit to. Just, do donuts in a parking lot. It's amazing. Liara, on the other hand, is a very soft song, but I think it might honestly be my favorite off of the Ghost Pop tape. Lyrically, it might be about a gay relationship, which is weird. No, it's not weird because it's gay. It's weird because, especially at the time, I don't think JPEGMAFIA was really that vocal about his sexuality, especially since a lot of people even now assume that he's straight, which I don't even really think he's gay. But the fact that this song, it's a very funny song, actually, lyrically. This song is about him and his girlfriend, and about him falling in love with a guy who also has a girlfriend. And they're basically like, if we get together, that'd be like, it literally says in the song, if we get together, it's like a love in a whirlwind. It's a very funny song lyrically, but it's also very emotional, because even if JPEGMAFIA isn't gay, which I'm not 100% sure on, so it's just not my business to know. I think it's a very telling song to be on the Ghost Pop tape, because on a song like the Ghost Pop tape, which again is very love based, having a song like that where he kind of questions his sexuality and he kind of does a lot of unraveling, is a song that I think perfectly fits that theme and that vibe that he's going for. And I think the lyrics aren't even really the main reason why I like this song, even though I do think lyrically it's one of the better written songs off the album. I think it's more so just the tune and the songwriting sonically that I love, because like those synths and the instrumental just make me just want to float into the galaxy. Float into our neighbor. What's our neighboring galaxy? Andromeda. I just want to float into Andromeda and drift away. When listening to that instrumental bit, it's fantastic. So I'm gonna go with Liara, which again it's a hot take, but I'm a Ghost Pop tape guy. What can I say? I'm the number one Ghost Pop tape glaze. No, I'm actually not. I think Gav is probably a bigger Ghost Pop tape glazer than I am now, because he said it's one of his 10 out of 10 albums, which is a hot take, but it's a very respectable take. I love that he has that take. I just really love that he loves that album so much. It's great. It's great how you can show someone an album that you really love, that you think needs more appreciation, and then they go on to love that album more than you did in the first place. It's very great to see. But that's besides the point. Next, we have Baby Girl off of his new album versus Free the Frail off of Cornballs. Now, Baby Girl is the only song off of Experimental Rap. I'm going to do, at the end of the year, a ranking and review of every album I listened to in 2026. Spoiler alert, Experimental Rap is not going to be that high. I don't really like the album that much, and I have not returned to it since its release. But I'm going to go with Baby Girl, mainly because it's the song that stuck in my mind the most, more so by default because it was the lead single for the album, but I think it also just has some of the best production on the whole album, and great flow from start to finish. Even if it is just a pretty basic song from Peggy structurally compared to a lot of his older stuff, so yeah, it's whatever. Versus Free the Frail, I love Peggy's vocals on this song. Damn, but she's out of my hands. I think that's what I also really appreciate about Cornballs just as a whole. It's always been one of my favorite JPEGMAFIA albums, because it just feels like a blending of his more melody-based stuff in the Devon Hendrix era versus a new evolved form that he took with JPEGMAFIA, and I think Cornballs was the album that best blended those two vibes together. And also on like Free the Frail, you really do get that, and just the carelessness that you get lyrically from the song. Not careless as like it's badly written, carelessness like that's the literal point of the song. It's way better than Baby Girl, for sure. No fucking competition there. For next we have I Just Killed a Cop, Now I'm Horny, versus, for the sake of this video, we're gonna say Nija. Nija. It kind of looks like it's pronounced Nija. Nega. That's not how you pronounce it. You can probably guess how you pronounce it, but versus Real Nija. I Just Killed a Cop, Now I'm Horny, off of Black Ben Carson, is such a weird song. It samples a very old vintage tape of a police officer pulling someone over for like a basic traffic stop, and it was like a demented war veteran, and he just went guns blazing on him because he was like mentally ill. And JPEGMAFIA sampled that on the song, and he sampled the dead officer's final screams on the song. So as you can imagine, it's not really a song that you could find yourself returning to a lot just for fun. I think lyrically, it's not a song that glorifies killing cops. It's not that morbid. It's about killing a cop, but it's portrayed in such a emotionless and merciless way that you can tell you're not supposed to be rooting for this person, but still the morbidness of it just makes it so hard to listen to just at all anyway. It's definitely the song that when it came on, I was like, okay, here we go. And just, that intro where you have to hear the cop, the actual cop. It's the actual footage of him screaming. It is very hard to listen to. Lyrically, it is well written, I guess, but it's very hard for me to give praise to this song because of just how crazily it's made. It is. Versus Real Ninja is such a crazy, fun song off of Veteran. Thank you, Ben, for having me go and re-listen to this song, because I probably would have overlooked it, sadly enough. And yeah, I think it's one of his best produced songs, or at least most fun produced songs. I don't even know what he's even sampling on that song, if it's like a robot noise or whatever, but it's like a robot voice that he takes and he samples, and he adds like crazy drums over and crazy flow over. And yeah, I think it's also a great representation of everything that makes JPEG Mafia. Loud, abrasive, but also just very fun to listen to, very replayable. I'm gonna go with Real Ninja for sure. Over here. Next, we have Ballad of a Poor Man versus Garbage Pail Kids. Ballad of a Poor Man is the intro off of the Ghost Pop tape, and I think is a great tone setter for the rest of the album. It is it's a song about, depression, basically. A guy who's on the end of his ropes. He's, basically suicidal, but the only reason why he's not just going through with it is because he's too cowardly to do so, because he's just so indecisive. He can't even make a decision like that. No one really talks to him. His relationships are so poorly made. The chorus is just, I'm going round in circles, baby. It almost feels like he's drunk while he's singing it. Kind of akin to like Never See Me Again by Kanye West. It's such a very morose and tragic and depressing song. Not only very obviously lyrically and vocally, but sonically too. It's just so boom, boom, with like sound effects in the back, which I think help builds to its atmosphere. I think a reason why the Ghost Pop tape is just so atmospheric is because there's so many different like noises in the back that makes it feel like you're just listening to someone sing in like their bathtub at like 1 a.m. in the morning, just bleeding their heart out into each song. And it's clear that JPEGMAFIA was definitely not in the right state of mind when making this album, and this song is definitely the perfect example of it. Garbage Pail Kids is a great song off of Scaring the Hose, but I have to dock some points for it because I think Danny Brown is better. It has a better verse on this song compared to JPEGMAFIA. More witty bars, better flow, better vocal delivery. Even though I do like how the beat changes when JPEGMAFIA comes on, or maybe that's perfect. I'm not exactly sure. They both of those songs kind of blend together for me a bit, but either way, this is a JPEGMAFIA bracket after all. So the fact that JPEGMAFIA isn't even like the strong suit off of not his own song, it's a collab song, but the fact that he's not the strong suit off of a song that he is being, there's a bracket for, it's going to dock some points, obviously. I'm going to go with Ballad of a Poor Man, though. I think it is such a amazing tone setter for the Ghost Pop tape, and I could definitely make a bit of a push here, for sure. Next, you have Bloody Roar versus Tired, Nervous, and Broke. Bloody Roar is our last song off of Dreamcast Summer Songs. Yeah, so it's also an instrumental song. I think it's probably my least favorite of the three. It's kind of groovy. It's got some nice vibes to it, but it doesn't have as much staying power to me as much as the other two do. Versus Tired, Nervous, and Broke is just, God, it's just so good. I think it's probably top 3 best flows in JPEGMAFIA's discography is on Tired, Nervous, and Broke. Especially with that one part where he goes, ticket to get a ticket to get me to my show. I can't even replicate it, but the way he does like that scheme is just so well done. I think the show is it's like so well done. lyrically, the song is fantastic too, but I think what really sells it for me is just the fantastic flow and vocal delivery you get just from start to finish. The song's like 5 minutes long, and it is not a second wasted, even in like the slow outro that it has. There is not a second wasted on this song. I'm going with Tired, Nervous, and Broke for sure. Next, we have, you knew it was going to be here eventually, we have Hazard Duty Pay versus Operation Kill Chet Hayes off of Generation Y, which is Devon Hendrix' first ever album that he raps on. That's not just beats like on Dreamcast Summer Songs. What is there to say about Hazard Duty Pay that hasn't already been said 1,000 times? I mean, I've said the word quintessential a few times, but this is definitely the quintessential JPEGMAFIA song. There's a reason why so many people say it's his best song, and for a while I even said it was his best song, and I still think there's a definitely, it might still be his best song. Call it a basic take, I don't know, I don't care, but as soon as that sample comes in, and then you get the crazy bass line that is just so visceral. The way that bass line moves, it genuinely feels like you're tasting the instruments in your soul. And that drums, when the drums come in too, and then when JPEGMAFIA comes in, holy shit. The vocals on this song, it is crazy. Like, there are some songs which I feel like if I were to go to like a club or a function and they would put on, and I was like dancing around to it, I would get a nosebleed. Easily, I would get a nosebleed. Especially if it was blasting. This song is insane. It is just such a crazy song. 2.5 minutes, but it although it's a pretty short song, it's definitely not, boring. That's for damn sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about because literally everyone says it's one of his best songs. If you don't like Hazard Duty Pay, if you don't think Hazard Duty Pay is one of his best songs, then you're just a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. There are some artists where, like for example, Kendrick Lamar. Everyone says Sing About Me Dying the Thirst is one of his best songs. I don't have it in my top 5 Kendrick songs, but I think that's because he just has so many amazing, perfect 10 out of 10 songs, and JPEGMAFIA does too, but Hazard Duty Pay is just so undeniable that if you don't have it in your top 5, you are just a fucking idiot dumbass. You are just, by law, an idiot dumbass stupid person. Versus Operation Kill Chet Hayes, I don't know. You could tell it's definitely his first rapping album because, first off, like I said earlier, a lot of the lyrics have not aged the best, but also just he kind of goes offbeat a couple times. The production itself is actually quite nice, but I feel like this would just be better off instrumental. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Operation Kill Chet Hayes. Obviously, definitely better than Hazard Duty Pay. All right, so next we have I'll Be Right. I'm joking, obviously. Hazard Duty Pay wipes the other song's ass. Holy shit. Could you imagine if I took a Hazard Duty Pay in the first round? That'd be hilarious. I would never be able to walk outside again if I did that. I would be completely exiled if I did that. That'd be hilarious. Next we have I'll Be Right There versus Sabbath School. I'll Be Right There is Ben's favorite JPEGMAFIA song, which I can definitely see why. I very much love its energy that it builds. I think it has one of his best flows. And on any JPEGMAFIA song, I definitely love the production. I love how it's like very frantic, which a lot of his songs are. But I love how specifically with this song, like the sample goes all haywire too. It's very nice. Sabbath School has the privilege. I said a lot of Devon Hendrix songs have been poorly aged, and they'd be better off just being instrumentals. This song is just straight up an instrumental. It is just a cloud rap song. Now, granted, if you search hard enough, you will find a version of it that had lyrics to it. I wouldn't look that up because I think there's a reason why the official re-release has no lyrics on it, because it is just so poorly aged, so offensive, so terrible that it would need, if I had included it, or if it still had those lyrics, I would not have even included it on this bracket. I think with the lyrics, it goes from being a fantastic, phenomenal, amazing instrumental cloud rap song to being like a 4 out of 10 song. Genuinely. It's like Tyler the Creator Goblin level, honestly. This is actually tough. Do I want to get out Ben's favorite song in the first round to a instrumental song nonetheless? I'm considering it. I'm going to go with Albie right there. That's the right choice. That's the correct choice. But there's a universe where I pick the funny option and go with Sabbath School. Final matchup of round 1. We are finally here. We have I Love You Hip Hop, But I Can't Be Your Girlfriend off of the Rockwood Escape Plan versus JPEG Ultra off of I Lay Down My Life For You. I Love You Hip Hop, But I Can't Be Your Girlfriend is definitely the best song off of the Rockwood Escape Plan. It's basically about, many rappers have talked about their love for hip hop in the past. But JPEGMAFIA kind of talked about his love for hip hop and how it's strained in a way, and how there's like a double-edged sword to it. And not just because in the chorus he goes, I can't be your girlfriend because that's gay. Which is very tongue-in-cheek and very, whatever. But in the actual verses, it definitely gets a lot more introspective. And production-wise, I think this is one of, honestly, in Devon Hendricks' discography and that whole era, one of his best ever produced songs, especially with what JPEGMAFIA ends up doing with it, with like the flow and the cadence he has on it. It's very, very well done. And on JPEG Ultra, Denzel Curry, I didn't even think, I could probably assume Denzel Curry would have been able to spit some heat, spit some heat on a JPEG beat, but damn did he go off on it. And I think weirdly enough, I'm gonna have to play the scaring the hose argument here, where I think in a way JPEGMAFIA takes a backseat to his own song, and on a JPEGMAFIA bracket, that's gonna dock you some points. Plus, I just really can't get over the beat on I Love You Hip Hop, But I Can't Be Your Girlfriend. So sorry, Ben, I know that's your favorite JPEG album, but I'm gonna go with I Love You Hip Hop. Round 1 is done. It's time for round 2. Hopefully now that I've kind of introduced each song, now it's gonna like flow easier. And now we're just gonna have to compare which one I like more. Round 2, Call Me Maybe versus Kingdom Hearts Key. This is kind of tough. It's still very funny to think that Call Me Maybe is just straight up a cover of a very popular Carly Rae Jepsen song. It's funny that JPEGMAFIA even did that to begin with. But I'm not being ironic, I'm not being sarcastic. It is one of his best songs. It's so impressive that he was able to take a song, use the exact same lyrics, like almost word for word, just with some structural differences, but take the exact same song and just completely change its vibe, completely change its instrumentation, and come up with a practically completely different song. Everyone is going to pick Kingdom Hearts Key, and I think that is the correct answer in terms of performance, in terms of production, in terms of how Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA bounce off each other. But this is my bracket. It's supposed to have hot takes, and I am, again, the Ghost Pop Tape guy. That's my favorite JPEG album, so there's going to be a Ghost Pop Tape bias. So, fuck off. If you don't like this bracket, you can make your own. I'm going with Call Me Maybe. Eat my shorts. Oh, man, this next one sucks. Next, we have God Don't Like Ugly versus the 27 Club. Damn. These are both songs that I feel like are kind of underdogs in his discography, especially God Don't Like Ugly. The 27 Club is more revered in JPEGMAFIA's discography, especially on Black Ben Carson as being one of his best songs. But with God Don't Like Ugly, it is such an overlooked song on that album. And I was really hoping you would make a pretty big push. But the 27 Club, I genuinely think, is one of, if not his best ever written songs. Not only conceptually, but execution-wise, how each verse is about the person that died and how it, slowly transforms to his own personal struggles and how they kind of match and compare. I think it's such a great concept for a song. And I think it's, again, executed very well. So I'm going to go with 27 Club. Damn, that hurts. Again, I was really gunning for God Don't Like Ugly. I love that song, but how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Next, we have Montebello High School Prom. Montebello High School Prom. Hell yeah. Versus Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought. This is tough. This is a tough one. I do think, again, Montebello High School Prom is like the quintessential song off of from the Devon Hendrix era. It does just encapsulate everything that he was about with the cloud rap scene, lyrically. I think it's also just his best well-arranged song from that era. But I could say the same thing about Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought. Again, like, performance-wise, that song is just so fucking amazing, impeccable. Immaculate is the word I'm looking for. This is also close. I didn't expect you would have to come up with some real thinkers in round 2, but damn. I'm gonna go with Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. Do I want to say that? Yeah, I will. I'm gonna say that. That's tough, but yeah. Damn, I thought Montebello High School Prom was gonna make a big push too, but. Next we have Either On or Off the Drugs versus Choo Choo Rocket. It's Either On or Off the Drugs. I think Choo Choo Rocket is a very fun song. It's a very good song to study to, for sure. But I just get more out of Either On or Off the Drugs. I feel like JPEGMAFIA, as much as he is just a great producer, is not the kind of producer, especially back then, who could pull off a fully instrumental rap beat album. I think if he were to try to do something like that today, it would probably work pretty well, especially since, he's evolved so much as a producer. But back then, when he's trying to find his footing, I feel like it just doesn't really pan out that well. Next, we have Liara versus Free the Frail. This is pretty easy. I'm going with Liara. I love the vocals on Free the Frail, but, I mean, if we're going to talk about vocals, Liara clears. And again, lyrically, I think it's way better written. Next, we have Real Nija versus Ballad of a Poor Man. Oh, this is a tough one. Damn, that's a tough one. These are both... Okay. I think... Damn. Ballad of a Poor Man is just so well written. It's such a great tone. It's probably like... In all honesty, probably like JPEGMAFIA's best ever intro. That... Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. Like, I think those two are probably like the top 2 for like intros that are like amazing album tone setters. 1539 and Calvert is probably another one that people would bring up, even if it's not a personal favorite for mine, but Real Nija is just such a great listen. That's probably the song I listened to the most in preparation for this bracket. It is just so fun. It's so great. It's so well performed. I'm gonna go with Real Nija. That's sad. Oh man, we're getting out all of like my underdogs round 2, but yeah. Damn. Alright. I think the fact that they were here to begin with is enough representation in the first place. Next, we have Tired, Nervous, and Broke versus Hazard Duty Pay. Look. Tired, Nervous, and Broke is an amazing song. All the props I said to it. Its flow, its beat selection. It's beat selection. He made the beat. Delivery, everything. It's not Hazard Duty Pay. Come on. Hazard Duty Pay it's gonna be hard to lose, honestly. Like, it's gonna be hard for Hazard Duty Pay to lose in this bracket. So, yeah. I think it also sucks to lose Tired, Nervous, and Broke. That song is so fucking well performed, but yeah, it's not Hazard Duty Pay. It's just not. Next, we have I'll Be Right There versus I Love You Hip Hop, but I Can't Be Your Girlfriend. Damn. Here's the thing. I could go with either option here, but I don't think... Either way, both of these are going to have to go against Hazard Duty Pay in the next round, and I don't think either of them are going to make it past Hazard Duty Pay in the next round. So, it doesn't really matter what I go with here. I'll go with I'll Be Right There. But again, it's going against Hazard Duty Pay in the next round. It's not going to do much, if anything. But that's round 2. I told you it was going to go by quick. Next, we have round 3. We have Call Me Maybe versus the 27 Club. Here is where I think the fact that Call Me Maybe is a cover becomes a detriment to it. The 27 Club is one of his best well-written songs. And Call Me Maybe is a fantastic, impressive feat. Again, I've given it's so many flowers in this video alone, but I don't think even then I've given it enough flowers. But against the 27 Club, I feel like 27 Club is way better, again, because it is an original song. At the end of the day, Call Me Maybe is a cover. It's not a song he wrote. It's a song he transformed, which I think it's impressive in its own right, but I love the lyricism on the 27 Club. I think just there's a lot of great concepts that JPEGMAFIA has, but execution-wise, lyrically, that's not really his strong suit. But on the 27 Club, I think he truly and undoubtedly transforms it and makes a beautifully written song execution-wise, not just conceptually. So I'm going to go with the 27 Club. Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, or either On or Off the Drugs. Damn, this is a difficult one. These are both of these albums' last representation, so if I get either out, they're both gone for good. I think that's the case for every album here, though, but damn. I'm gonna go with Ben. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. That means that there's no more I laid down my life for you, which I know is Ben's favorite JPEG album. But if I just look at it, I think Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought is one of his best ever written songs, conceptually again, but also just like performance-wise. And Either On or Off the Drugs is so well done too. Again, that smoothness I can really appreciate. But I'm gonna go Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. Sorry. Next we have Liara versus Real Ninja. Weirdly enough, the last two are really difficult, but this one is super easy. I'm gonna go with Liara. Sorry. I think Liara is actually the final Devon Hendrix era JPEG song now, which is fun. Which also makes sense because I think if I were to really think about it, that would make sense. Liara is definitely my favorite from that era. So yeah. Then we have Hazard Duty Pay versus I'll Be Right There. I already said it. Hazard Duty Pay walks. Sorry. We have the semi-finals. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 songs. The 27 Club, Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, Liara, and Hazard Duty Pay. Where's your horse? What do you want to win? Looking at it right now, I don't know what's going to win. I think I have an idea of what's going to win, but we're going to see. The 27 Club versus Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. Oh, man, that is difficult. Because if you think about it, the 27 Club, I gave it that argument of, like, conceptually, it's really well done, but execution-wise, it's also one of his most well-written songs. But you could also say the same thing with Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, but the difference with Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, execution-wise, lyrically, isn't as good as the 27 Club. So it should be the 27 Club, but using that logic, but Call Me a Hypocrite, I don't know if I can really use that logic here because I think Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought is just so much better production-wise, which I think is what gives it its that leg up. Just those synths. It's just so well done. I just love it. And then I also just really like JPEGMAFIA's delivery. Even if lyrically it's not as condensed as the 27 Club, I think it makes up for that with just fantastic vocal delivery, rhyme scheme, cadence. I'm going to go Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, which definitely is contradictory to what I said previously, but sue me. I don't care. Final matchup of the semifinals, we have Liara versus Hazard Duty Pay. I was going to say this is obvious, but no, it's actually not. Maybe it's just because, again, Liara is the final Devon Hendrix era song that's here, and so I really wanted to go far. Also because the Ghost Puff Tape is, like I said, my favorite JPEG album. So, as much as I want to say Hazard Duty Pay walks here, it kind of doesn't. It is very difficult. I love Liara so much. Lyrically, but, performance-wise, it's so well done. And it's also just funny, It's a funny, experimental, gay relationship. What's more to like, Hazard Duty Pay is so well done, though. Yeah, I would be lying to myself. Biases aside, I would be lying to myself if I said it wasn't Hazard Duty Pay. So, rest in peace, Devon Hendrix. Rest in peace, Ghost Pop Tape. Rest in peace, Liara. I'm going to go with Hazard Duty Pay. Damn. Which means the finals, we have Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought versus Hazard Duty Pay. Going into this, I fully expected Hazard Duty Pay to be in the finals. I did not expect Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought to make it this far, but it definitely makes sense now that I think about it. It definitely has, everything I would want in a JPEG song put into one. Great concept, amazing production, great, quirky, memorable vocal delivery and cadence, and obviously a Hazard Duty Pay has all of that in spades too, which makes it a difficult decision for sure, but damn. This is a side note. Do you know have you heard the extended version of Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought? On the deluxe version of All My Heroes Are Cornballs, which is literally just the same song, but this Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought has a 30-second longer outro now. It is the most pointless deluxe version of any album ever. I do think it's better though than the original, because I think that presence of an outro is better than just ending suddenly, but whatever. I just thought about that. I think it's fun. It's a fun thing to bring up as I think about what I'm going to pick here. Because I don't know. I could definitely... It's like, if you ask me this again in 5 minutes, I could go with the opposite answer. That's how, flip-floppy I am with this. But here's how I'm going to do it. This is a JPEGMAFIA bracket. It's all-encompassing. This encapsulates every point in his career, from Dreamcast summer songs all the way to experimental rap. And therefore, I think the final answer here should be the song that I think best encapsulates everything he's ever done into one. If I look at what best... think of it like a Venn diagram. What songs best encapsulate the Devon Hendrix era? Montebello High School Prom. Probably Sakura or Call Me Maybe, or 27 Club. If I go with JPEGMAFIA, that would be Hazard Duty Pay. That would be 1539 and Calvert. That would be stuff like Kingdom Hearts Key. What's in that middle point? Obviously, first and foremost, the obvious answer is the middle point is Black Ben Carson 27 Club. Obviously, I know that. But I think past that obvious and pretty surface level answer, that perfect middle point, and I said this earlier, is Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought. you get a mix of everything here. You get the melodical, more almost cloud rap based performances that you got with the Devon Hendrix era, with also themes of love and lust, which is also a big focus point of that era too, lyrically. And you mix that with the more experimental production and more out there, more coming of his own JPEGMAFIA era with the flow, with the vocals, and with the crazy, execution of the song. And I think that is why, even though this is a close matchup as to what song is better, in a JPEGMAFIA bracket, I think Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought is the best answer, is the best winner to a bracket like this. And so, yeah, I think the winner of the JPEGMAFIA bracket is officially going to be Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought. That is, that's a very interesting pick. I did not go into that assuming that was going to win. I actually fully thought it was going to be Had Your Duty Pay, but the more I think about it, I think Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought might just be my favorite JPEGMAFIA song. It's late at night. I'm still waiting for the new Steve Lacy album to drop. It's going to drop in, as I'm recording this, like an hour or so. So I'm staying up to listen to that when it comes out at 12. But that is the JPEGMAFIA bracket. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you change about it? What would be your winner? What are some songs that you would have wanted me to include? Who are some artists that you think I should do a bracket for next? YouTube is really weird with having kids be in their videos, so there's a chance that the comment section is going to be turned off for this. If that is the case, that sucks. But there's always one thing you could go to, and that is the comments of this video turned off. Go to the comment section of my beautifully done, amazingly handcrafted live stream where I sing the national anthem 250 times for the country's 250th birthday. It is 5.5 hours long. It is tiring to watch as much as it was for me to execute, but overall I am very proud of how it turned out, and I have a lot of old conservative people that have commented who are very proud of me. So I'm glad that I have that audience that are now fans of my content. It's very good to have have that on my side. But that's the JPEGMAFIA bracket. Thanks for watching, and until next time. I have another very big project in the works for this channel that I am still working on alongside this, and I wanted to just kind of put this out to subdue the people who have been wanting a new video from me for a while. That is still in the works. I still have a new video in the works, but you just gotta wait your turn, buddy. Sorry. Toodles.